Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Hashim, also known as Hashade, coming at you with another dope black drop. So, I have been thinking about life and living it as my black self in this crisis that we are in, not just the typical crisis that we were living in 2019 and before, but living life under the extra layer of COVID-19, the shelter in place, the social distancing. That's one issue, but then here in Colorado, we are dealing with these fires. So that's added as well. And I'm coming at you with all this because I'm thinking about my health of what I've done in these X number of years that I've been living to cope, also along with surviving. But I have picked up the COVID-19 pounds, right? Not the COVID, right? But I've picked up my 19 pounds. I picked up your 19 pounds. I picked up your mama's 19 pounds. Everything y'all are losing during this traumatic time, I am finding. And I've decided a few months ago actually that I need to do something about it. Well, motivation was a thing. Then as I tried to do stuff outside, the fires started happening. I couldn't breathe. And I'm just at a point where as I progress through age that I realized that I really need to start taking my health more seriously. Right? Like do that what you want to, grammar snobs. But I need to focus more on my health and to start making better choices. And I reflect throughout my life with my struggle of weight from adulthood up until now. I hate the terms big boned, right? Like, how is that medically possible unless you developed a condition from your bones enlarging their density because they're forced to carry the weight? That's how you get big boned. Don't argue with me. Argue with your big mama. But if your mama's big, like I mean that, but like yo, still. But I really want to do that seriously, and I was on a track, right? Like I was losing weight, I was slim, I had about a size 32 pants right in the waist, and I'm like, I'm about to hit back in these mugs. And if you're like, you're losing too much weight, don't do that, don't do this, and it's really hard. Like when you maintain that struggle, and when life still keeps throwing stuff at you. And I started to listen to those messages. And I'm like, yikes. And so then one thing became another. And I started to climb that scale again, going back into larger clothing than I had until I reached a point where my dashiki started becoming form fitting. I ain't got no custom made dashikis, right? But I let these people get into my head of these cultural norms that have been excuses for justification for ways that we deal with our trauma through lack of exercise and poor eating habits. And I understand the food deserts and all that type of stuff and availability, but I have not lived that struggle, right? I'm not of the upper echelon of the blue ribbon people, but I have to be accountable for the poor choices that I've made, and I encourage everyone to be accountable for all of their choices. So I choose a different path now. And I still hate hearing people talk about, well, you look good. Listen, this ain't got nothing to do with my esteem. Nothing to do with my esteem. I mean, like, that's not it. This has to do for my health and for my vanity. I want to drop the weight. I'm okay if people question is, Hashim on that stuff? Let me be skinny. Let me deal with them type of problems. I am so okay with that, right? And I know, like, skinny doesn't mean healthy and all. You can be healthy and big. Yeah. Shut up with all that type of stuff. Like, I happen to subscribe to maybe some of that Julian Michaels critique or ideology, right? Like, But nonetheless, love yourself and whatever you decide to do and let those choices be your choices. And I support